The puzzle is slowly coming together in the MADLANGA Commission of Inquiry, with Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi back on the witness stand. Today, we heard allegations against business people, as well as some police officers, members of parliament, and we heard some information on loopholes in the criminal justice system. I'm here to help you make sense of it all. This is News Made Simple with me, Khomoto Modise. Before we get into it, I want to invite you to please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with all your friends. This is a platform that we share where we break down news stories and make sense of it all. All right, let's get right into it. So, day 2 of the MADLANGA Commission of Inquiry. A lot has been revealed today. Many names, a few more names than we saw yesterday. In fact, yesterday there weren't any real names that were shared. Today we heard a lot of detail, and there's almost a picture being painted here by the Lieutenant General. Earlier in the day, in the morning, we heard General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi making allegations about loopholes in the criminal justice system, and he used an interesting figure to paint this picture. He pointed out a name, FISOKUHLE NTULI. If you follow the Senzo Mehiwa trial, you'll know FISOKUHLE NTULI. He's accused number 5 in the trial. And we know that he is no saint, no stranger to prison as well as the might of the law. Now, what we know is that FISOKUHLE NTULI had been charged and convicted of 4 attempted murder charges or cases. And the Lieutenant General then tells the court that he appealed the conviction. And while he appealed it, he applied for bail or to be released on bail, which was granted. After he was granted bail, he was then rearrested in connection with 4 murders that he allegedly committed while he was out on bail. And General Mkhwanazi uses this example and others that are in his statement to paint the picture and to show the commission the loopholes in the criminal justice system and just how some of those who are supposed to be officers of the courts, custodians, are actually the ones that are causing the mess that we currently are in as the country. It is prosecutors. It is the magistrates and judges. Those are all the people that are part of this bail process. And so the general uses Ntuli to uses him as an example to show the state of the criminal justice system. Now, Mkhwanazi's testimony is broken into parts and categories, and he's dealt with some of those categories today. The first category, or one of the categories that he dealt with, is members of parliament. He has flagged some members of parliament that he has seen concerning conduct from, according to him. One of those members of parliament is a man named Vidal Adams, and he is the leader of the National Coloured Congress, and he's a member of parliament. Now, we heard from Mkhwanazi today that Adams somehow got his hands on intelligence information, which he took and he reported to the police. According to Mkhwanazi, Adams has been reckless in how he handled this intelligence that he received. The general believes that once he'd received this information, he was supposed to escalate it to Parliament's Joint Committee on Intelligence, but he didn't. In fact, or instead, he went to the police with this information. Now, Adams has been very, very upset. He's livid about this, and he basically says, "What does Mkhwanazi want from me?" I think he's quoted as having said such in one of the interviews. And Adams's problem is, he says when he received this information, he says it was slid under his door. So it's not true that he received the information in an improper manner. But he also says that when he received the information, he thought it right to go to the police because of the nature of the information that he received. And so he approached the police with the information and he reported what he believes is a crime. Mkhwanazi believes what's been reported there is not necessarily a crime, but it's a police HR issue. This is the issue involving Dumisani Khumalo, the head of crime intelligence. It's that matter in the Pretoria Magistrates Court, where Khumalo has been charged for fraud and corruption in connection with the appointment of 30-year-old Dineo Mukwele to a senior position, that case. Now, Adams insists this is not just an HR matter, but it's actually about corruption of about 1 billion rand. And he says that Mkhwanazi is reducing it to just, an HR issue. But Mkhwanazi believes that Adams has been used as a puppet. Mkhwanazi believes that there's been people that have been feeding Adams with this intelligence information and also using him in order to push this process in order for the IDAC, which is the investigating directorate, to prosecute Mkhwanazi. And he, not Mkhwanazi, Khumalo. And he quotes communication that Adams had with the minister as well as the National Police Commissioner. And when he was frustrated that the National Police Commissioner wasn't acting in the way that he wanted, he then escalated to the police minister, and he called for IDAC's intervention. That's according to Mkhwanazi. The second member of parliament that has been flagged by Mkhwanazi is Diane Kohler-Barnard, and she's a DA member of parliament. And according to Mkhwanazi, Kohler-Barnard, who is actually a member of that Joint Committee of Intelligence, Kohler-Barnard took that sensitive information that she received while she was in this committee and she shared it with the public. Now, you may remember that Kohler-Barnard had written a statement for the DA where she revealed how the crime intelligence division had used a lot of money in order to buy properties as well as vehicles. Mkhwanazi believes that in that statement, Kohler-Barnard revealed some sensitive information that should not be in the public around the vehicles as well as the properties. And he basically paints a picture of Kohler-Barnard using intelligence information to to score political points. And both Kohler-Barnard and Adams have come out guns blazing. They're saying absolutely not. They were correct because they were just flagging what they believe is corruption. However, Mkhwanazi believes that they are being used as pawns in a greater game. And the greater game is that this man, Dumzani Khumalo, who's actually the head of, or who was championing the Political Killings Task Team, is actually being targeted because of the work that it was doing at a provincial level, in Gauteng particularly. I hope this makes sense for you. Now, another businessman, or some businessmen that we've become rather familiar with through journalistic material, and we almost, they're on the tip of our tongues, is Katiso KT Molefe and Vusmuzi Kat MATLALA. We heard about a JMPD officer named Johannes Mokhatle. And Mkhwanazi says Johannes Mokhatle has written a statement earlier this year, I believe it was in February 2025, where he, under oath, reveals his links to Katiso KT Molefe. Remember, Katiso KT Molefe is the man who's the alleged mastermind behind the murders of DJ Somebody and DJ Vintos, as well as Armand Swart. Now, Mkhwanazi says that in that statement, Mokhatle, the JMPD officer, reveals that he became friends with Vusmuzi Kat MATLALA, and on the day that MATLALA was arrested, he called Mokhatle and he asked him that there was a suspicious looking vehicle, or told him about a suspicious looking vehicle parked outside his house. And he says that suspicious looking vehicle was parked there, and Mokhatle went to MATLALA's house and he used police systems to run the number plates in order to find out who that vehicle belongs to. And it turned out that it was a police vehicle. Now, Mkhwanazi, of course, points out the absurdity of this, the fact that this police officer, JMPD police officer, is using state funds and resources to pick Molefe up from his house, drive to this car that was parked a distance away, run those number plates using state resources in order to help his friend that Mkhwanazi, of course, believes is a criminal and who is an alleged crime kingpin. And so that almost paints this picture of law enforcement being abused by these people. Now, in terms of Vusmuzi Kat MATLALA, a lot's been revealed with him. Another businessman that's been mentioned by Mkhwanazi is Suleiman Karim. According to Mkhwanazi, Karim is friends with Vusmuzi Kat MATLALA, but Karim is also an ANC member. He's a treasurer general somewhere in the Northwest. And he, according to the general, has links and a close friendship with MATLALA, to the extent that MATLALA approached Karim in order to speak to Senzo Mchunu so that his tender, that 300 million rand tender at the Tembisa hospital, is not cancelled. And so This man, Karim, is allegedly the link between Senzo Mchunu and Vusmuzi Cat MATLALA. We now know that that tender was ultimately cancelled. That's also the tender that Babita Dokaran, the whistleblower, was investigating at the time of her murder. Something else that's come out on MATLALA is that, according to Mkhwanazi, his vehicles were fitted with blue lights by the Ekurhuleni municipality. It's also been alleged by the general that MATLALA's vehicles were also loaded on the Ekurhuleni municipality system as municipal vehicles. And this just shows the power that MATLALA has as a man. The fact that he's got these links and these connects with police, the police departments, Metro Police, as well as powerful politicians in order to negotiate that his tenders are not cancelled. It shows that whatever we thought, or however much we thought he was powerful, we should times that by maybe 10. Now, it's been a rather eventful day in this particular matter, but also on the court front, because we saw the MK party approaching the Pretoria High Court to challenge the MADLANGA Commission of Inquiry, and they've failed. Their matter has been struck off the roll for lack of urgency. And so the MK will have to have their matter, if they still want it, heard on the normal court roll, which may take years. But that means there's nothing stopping the MADLANGA Commission of Inquiry now. It will continue, and we are expected to hear more from General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi over the next few days. I want to invite you to like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe, and share this podcast with your friends. Let's do it again soon.